Hello, hello, friends, and welcome to Virtual Strangers, episode 136. I am your host, Wes. With me, as always, is my good friend Ruuts. 136. That's a big number, bro.
That's crazy, man. You said we're coming up on 3 years, and we're actually closer to 3 years than you think, because we took time off. We didn't do one every single week. We're probably at 3 years already. You know, if you take into count the 6 weeks we take off, I mean, we're close, right? Really close.
Yeah, it's close. Yeah, I think we started in March, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But you know what's cool is it's so long ago that I don't know for sure. Like maybe we did, but maybe we didn't.
I know, and there's so many people that like have started watching the show that like legitimately don't even know who Alex or Main Fan are, even though they're co-founders of the show. And yeah, exactly.
What?
And so like it's crazy. It's cool to watch things, and then they don't even Eric has became a big part of the big toe of the show, the Sergeant Hulka, and for balance. And I just think it's just cool to see how everything shifts and how everything changes. And I was just talking to somebody earlier today about Zenith. We're not going to talk too much about it. I'm just going to talk a little bit about it. But it's just about how, at least for me, being able to change your mind or look at things differently or go in for a second perspective can kind of actually add credibility, even though you were dead solid on something. Because I kind of had like my knee-jerk reaction moment to a game, but it's pretty cool so far. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, we are going to touch on Zenith a little bit today, but as we typically do, we're going to save the deep thoughts for Wednesday, and that goes for Wanderer as well. We're going to be covering both Wanderer and Zenith this Wednesday. Of course, our friend Eric will be with us to share his experiences as well. And special guest, AJ from Without Parole, is going to be on with us, and PSVR Underground, of course, his awesome channel where he likes to stream his games. But this Wednesday, we're going to be talking about these new releases, and I can't wait. You know, Zenith has been pretty cool for the about 30 minutes or so of it that I played. I've been stuck on the other one, man. Wanderer has had me pretty much from launch, and I was going to do Zenith. I was all gung ho about it on day one, but as is typically the case with these types of games, there was server issues on day one, and I put it off. And by the time I got back around to it, I was already playing Wanderer.
Wow, the server issues were bad, and we'll talk more about that on Wednesday as well. But it's definitely not the smoothest launch, but I don't know, it's pretty cool so far. People want to know, I guess specifically Jarilla wants to know why you have a red karate gi on. I don't know if that's exactly what it's on. Yeah, he's supporting his team, bro. You just got to sit up a little bit more.
It's the NFC Championships today, bro. I had to represent, right?
Oh, God, man. I'm pulling for your 49ers, bro, because they need to be in the Super Bowl, because I want you to be
absolutely happy. They were in Super Bowl two years ago, and it's just the memory of it is just a bitter source of pain for me. So it's not necessarily going to be all right, even if we win today.
Yeah, it'll be cool. I'll tell you what. Hopefully everything goes good, and we can be talking about them winning the Super Bowl, right?
Absolutely. But yeah, the Zenith problems dried up rather quickly. From what I understand, not only have they squashed all of the server issues that they were having, but they also unlocked the shards now, so you can just kind of hop and skip around as much as you want to.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what's crazy is I don't understand, like, because I've been playing it on the PC, and it's this huge environment, open world, right? Like, with everything we've talked about with the Quest and Shadowgate, like destroying rooms behind them, and like I don't understand how they're doing it. I mean, didn't they just didn't they tell us they couldn't do Windlands on the Quest or Windlands 2 because it's just too open world?
Yeah, that was kind of the assertion, is that it wouldn't be worth the massive amount of work it would take to do that. But we don't know how many people are working at Zenith. Or Winland is pretty much just a couple of people. It's not a very big operation at all.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm impressed. I don't know, man. I guess maybe because I played it single the first hour just by myself, didn't talk to anybody. The second time I played it with Mash and D, and now I've got other people that are coming in, and I'm gonna be playing with your sister when she can get in there, and it's just cool. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, that's the promise of this type of game, right? Is a good time with your friends, and that's what I'm looking forward to. I am going to be hopping in there probably tomorrow and Tuesday, so that I have plenty of time in, because it's not something that you can play for an hour and talk about, right? It's something that is going to require a bit of investment with regards to time. So, as much as I hate to stop on Wanderer, I haven't finished it yet. I think I'm going to have to do just that, so that I can get my my levels up, bro. I'm only like level 3 right now.
Oh wow! Well, I'll tell you what. I was level 4 today, and now I'm level 8, almost level 8, and I'm right behind D and right behind Mash. So I mean, they were already at 8 and 10. Of course, they ran with me, and they were just helping me get caught up. So it won't be hard to catch you back up.
And I was going to keep going on. We will talk more about Zenith in a few minutes. We obviously can detail our whole experience minute by minute right now if we let ourselves. But I'm going to throw the brakes on and kick it off the way we always do by saying hello to our friends in chat. Mash Daddy is in the chat. He says the grind is real. That's what I was afraid of, Roots.
It's not really grindy. This is the thing. Okay, so you got your quests, and you're running around, and you're going from quest to quest as you're doing this stuff. But you're also like, we just went in. I was healing the first. It was like a group quest. So it was kind of like a mini dungeon type of thing. It's not really a dungeon. It doesn't feel like you're grinding to me so far. Now I think when you get to higher levels and you're playing for 2 hours and you haven't even leveled one level, that's when it gets to feel grinding, because some of the levels, once you get near the end, it just takes forever. So
as should be the case, right?
yeah, absolutely. Well, that's the thing. You don't want it to just fly by, and it gives the devs a lot of time. Say it takes a month to level, 2 months. Most people, they've got a couple months to work on some of the issues that I'm going to talk about on Wednesday that I hoped were in the game that aren't in the game, that triggered my said knee-jerk reaction. So.
Well, not only will they have time to work on that stuff, but they'll have time to work on their social skills as well and learn how to talk when you're around adults, children.
Yeah.
Good God. Anyway, Onakazi is in the house, as is Chris9989. What's up, fellas? Hussein X is here. Says, I wonder if Zenith is now the new fastest selling VR game. I'm say it's got a pretty good jump to whatever benchmark you're referring to, but they're off to a good start. We're going to talk a little bit about that as we get into the headlines. Paradise Decay is in the house. What's up, PD? He says, you know who else likes a good grind?
My mom. I was just getting ready to say that. If you didn't, I just was reading that.
Wolveraza is in the chat, as is Mr. Tasselhoff, Thomas McNostril, and my sister. Hello, Ashley. Jarillo says, when devs say we can't, what they mean is we don't want to. Exactly. Yeah. Ray Pope is in the house. What's up, Ray? Thanks for joining. Nibelheim. Yeah, the shard hopping is quite nice. Absolutely.
I think it's a day. Yeah. I think you can move your character in one day, and that is nice. And it probably won't be that way forever, but until everybody gets established and figures out where they want to be, so you're not like kind of locked out of your friends. Because that was one of my biggest gripe about New World, the flat game, that Amazon AAA game, and it was like the hardest thing to start a game with your friends. Like it was, I don't understand. It was the worst thing I've ever seen in an MMO. So this game has done so many things better than New World even. So
well, I mean, it makes sense, right? Because this is not a AAA game. This is coming from an independent developer, and server costs are expensive, and you kind of have to try to guess around how much bandwidth you're going to need, how many players are going to buy it, but you never know. And all indications say that this thing is a way bigger success than they even expected it to be. So you can imagine they're on like the budget server plan, right? And then like 3 times as many people as they were expecting come in and crash the whole thing. I'd say that they met their threshold and said, you know what, let's just go ahead and get the premium platinum plan with our server provider, and now they don't have to give us limitations anymore on shards or what have you. Everybody can just jump in and hop around willy-nilly. So congratulations to Ramen VR for being able to afford the expensive plan.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, think about that, how stressful that first day was, but how amazing it was. Like, yeah, you're hoping you do, oh man, we really want to do well, and then you do like 3-4 times as many as you even planned on. Your servers are crashing. It's like, my God, dude, we did it. They did it. That's cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of people are just buying into it just to see, right? Because it's gained so much hype over the last month. Like I bought an extra copy. The show, our community paid for us each a copy so that we could check the game out for content purposes. But I went ahead and bought another one anyway so that I can have it on another headset or two. So now I've got a copy on Oculus, which is shareable. I have a copy on Steam, which is shareable, and every headset in my house, save my PlayStation VR, I can put a person in now, and that's kind of the name of the game with it. With in MMOs, you want to have people in there. I've always got 2 at my beck and call whenever I want to get in.
Yeah, well, that was awesome. I heard that Michelle was in there the other day, so she'll probably be going with us as well, which is really cool, right?
Yeah, she's got more time in it than I do, easily, probably 4 or 5 times as much time as I do in it. Like, and she's barely played it. I've seriously just been playing Wanderer, man. I haven't been able to stop.
Yeah. Well, see, and what's weird is I thought I saw some people saying some negative things about Wanderer, but mostly good. So I don't know. I guess we'll talk about that on Wednesday as well.
Chris 9989 says Wanderer is ridiculously fun. I agree. Let's see who else is around here. I think we've said hello to most of them. There's Techno Glitch. What's up, bro?
Taz just said at $27, are you really out much? Not even a monthly subscription, and that's a really good point, especially since I've already put in like 3 or 4 hours, and I'm level 8 or 9. But I will tell people, and my issues, which I'll go into when we talk about it more in detail, are because I've played MMO World of Warcraft for 10 years. But I will say, anybody that goes in there and they know anything about MMOs and they just go into play, they're going to be impressed with the detail to all the skills and the timers and the mechanics already that I've encountered at up to level 8. Because I'm becoming more impressed every 5 minutes, it seems like.
Yeah, that's kind of why I have the copy on Steam. Initially, I had 2 Oculus copies, and I was just going to play through Revive, and it worked well through Revive, except for one button, the menu button.
Oh,
and as you know, that's a fairly important button in a game like this.
well, yeah, because you're pulling up your map, dude. The map is. You know what? I'm gotta stop. I'll start talking about all sorts of stuff, and we got headlines to talk about.
We've got a special guest coming on Wednesday. We need to save it for AJ, and Decepticon is in the house, as is Chi-Town D, DLG 27, and Radio Runt. Hello, one and all. Thanks for stopping by. Anyway, but you said it, Roots. Let's get into some headlines, and let's kick it off as we typically do with the headlines by talking about the industry and the happenings with the larger world of the metaverse and metaverse business. It finally happened, Roots. A pretty overt move on the part of Meta, as they have now abandoned the Oculus branding on the all-important Twitter. I think that this is a sign to come. There's been some speculation over the past few weeks that maybe they won't go through with it because, well, to be quite honest, it's a pretty stupid business move, as they've spent years building this brand, and it's finally starting to gain traction. Literally, they've got this rare thing where their brand name is synonymous with the technology, right? You don't see this all the time where like Jello brand gelatin, it's just called Jello. The brand name has kind of become the thing, or like I don't know what's another good example of this. UFC. People talk about MMA, they talk about UFC, even though UFC is kind of like the brand name. Oculus kind of has VR unlocked. Most people, most common people, casuals, if you will, refer to VR as Oculus. I got an Oculus, right? And just as you achieve that, you switch it up and go to Meta. And it's such a dumb move. A lot of people have came out against it, and that where they've been quiet for most of 2022, people were speculating that maybe they're going to have a second thoughts, and apparently this is not the case as their social media begins to follow through with the plan they set forward late last year.
Yeah, I agree. And I think everybody said it across the board. Anybody that knows anything about marketing, or, you don't, it'd be like if we said, and I think Anthony did it with YouTube, but I mean, he did it because he was stuck with getting monetized and stuff. But like, you don't want to establish something. Like if we decided, you know what, we're going to change our name from Virtual Strangers to something else, and we had to start over on everything. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why would you do that? You finally get it, and then you're changing. But I don't know. I guess they've got plans, right?
They got plans not to have their entire company disbanded by the government. That's the bottom line. They're restructuring, and distancing themselves from the social media aspect, right? Like Facebook, up until this point, everything has been Facebook, right? Now they're trying to make Facebook this other thing. It's not the whole company anymore. It's just this other part of our business. So if Facebook does get taken down and disbanded, it doesn't really affect Meta because Meta is the parent company, right? It's kind of a loophole, right? If it works, it's a loophole for them to avoid the consequences of their business practices.
Do you think they could have done the same thing and just kept it, because their Facebook's what they're trying to distance themselves? Couldn't they have kept the Oculus and distanced themselves from Facebook still, or did that just because it's been connected for so long?
Well, it probably what it is they probably could have done that if they hadn't switched it to Oculus by Facebook, which was what it was over the last few years. Oculus by Facebook.
I gotcha.
So yeah, they probably could have done that. But I mean, again, it makes sense if they're going to be Meta. What kind of company is Meta? Well, Meta is a metaverse company, and metaverse and VR are like this, so it kind of makes sense if they're going to be Meta to have all of their metaverse related products fall under that same brand as well. It's bad business from a marketing standpoint, but again, it's pretty smart if it ends up saving their company from being destroyed by the government.
Yeah, I'm all for them changing it to Meta. And I'll tell you why.
I love Meta, bro. I love Meta.
The reason why I'm glad that they're changing it to Meta and distancing themselves from Facebook is, we all thought that they were like rethinking and maybe we shouldn't have forced the tie to Facebook, And that's, I mean, if you're distancing, you're separating the two. They have no choice but to separate our Facebook accounts from it, right?
Right.
So, I mean, that's a good thing for us. Nobody wants their Facebook account attached to it. So,
yeah, they'll all be happy when they create their Meta account and attach to it. That's what I thought was so funny about it. It was like we always had an Oculus account that was attached to the headset. Nobody cared, but when the Oculus account merged with the Facebook account, now it's a problem. Yeah. And when the Facebook account goes away and they have to register for a Meta account, they're going to be all fine with it. You know what I mean? It's people are weird creatures sometimes.
Yeah, that's just what you call it, right? Same thing. So
yeah, who was it here? I saw a comment that I like. Oh yeah, Hussein X. He has an Oculus, one of the ones that you plug into your computer. It's called a Valve Index.
Yeah, he's playing an Oculus. This is how I always think, because this is how weird society's getting, and it's starting to creep into my head too. I'll be talking to somebody new in VR, or whatever, it's about VR, a customer or whatever, and they'll say, "Oh yeah, I've tried VR," and instead of saying, "Oh, was it the phone one?" because we're getting past that now, I ask them, "Is it the black one or the white one?" you know, and the, you
Dude,
know,
that's extremely offensive to some people on a micro
it
level.
probably would
But
be.
that's
And see, for me, it's 100% distinguishable. If they say, "Oh, it's black," then I know it's the Quest 1. Because if they start describing the Quest, I'm like, "Okay, is it the new one?" They're like, "I don't know." Okay, so is it white or black? Um, it's just descriptions, you know.
right, right. And next year we'll have a new black one, and the meaning will change of their answer, right?
It's just so weird, man. I just I check out. I'm just gonna have fun in VR.
Well, here's the good thing, and here's the good news about going from the Facebook account to the Meta account is now we can rest easy knowing that they're not evil and that they're not
Yes.
spying on us and not collecting our data and selling it for obscene profits, which makes me feel better when I read this next headline because we know that since they're not evil, that we can totally trust them with their new AI supercomputer which could improve tracking, guys. Isn't that awesome news?
Yeah, that's good news. That's really good news, right? Unless it's not good for us.
Well, the tracking's going to get better due to the. Let's see what they have here. The stat line for this thing. It's ridiculous. They have 6,000 NVIDIA A100 GPUs. And for those
Wow.
of you who don't know what an A100 NVIDIA is, it's a $10,000 graphics card, which uses the same architecture that's in the 3000 series, but it's optimized for machine learning rather than gaming. And each one has anywhere from 40 to 80 gigabytes of ultra fast VRAM on it. Um, and that's a lot of power when you put all of that together. I hope the tracking improves. The tracking should improve.
Well, that's sketch, man. That's AI, and that's not like it said. It's at 6,000. They plan to have 16,000 by the end of the year, making it the fastest AI supercomputer in the world. And amazing that it's pushed. I just saw Ray Pope was saying in the chat that they're pushing for this metaverse, and it's a pipe dream. And I don't think people realize how hard they're pushing and stuff like this and the AI. They really want us in this world, good or bad. We can have a debate on whether this is going to be a good thing or not. If they want to put a chip in your head, I say no. You can do you. I'm going to do me. But like at some point, they're pushing for this metaverse and they're pushing hard, and it's across the board. So it's going to happen. It's going to happen very soon.
Yeah, the industry has decided. Facebook, back at Connect in October, pushed all of their chips into the middle of the table, and the rest of the tech industry took notice of that, and everyone is jumping in now. The industry has decided this is happening. When you see them, a company like Meta putting together the strongest supercomputer in the world, um, it makes you stop and think for a minute just how quickly the tech is going to grow now. Like, people were contemplating last month whether or not it was going to be possible to do like cloud streaming, cloud rendering over the next 5 years. Dude, if they've got computers like that, we'll be doing that shit in 2 years. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, it's definitely happening. Everything's exponentially. And I've said it before, once AI really gets a footing, like it starts solving the problems, and it starts solving problems overnight that take 1,000 years, bro. Or I think it's already happening. There's some of the things that technologies that have been happening in other countries are leaps ahead of other things that are making our scientists scratch their heads. So it's a crazy time.
Yeah, and when you think about just how quickly the AI has been growing, that's the before times. That's before they had, AI. We've talked about AI and machine learning before. Uh, Really, the only limiting factor with how quickly it grows and how fast, how much more powerful it gets with regards to time, is how much data you can feed it. And now, Meta, this company who's going to have the most powerful AI based supercomputer in the world, they're going to be training it with more data than they've ever had before because now everyone has these devices that they're wearing with, 6 cameras on them, and cameras that are watching your eyes at all times and your face, and 360 degree um, spatial audio that it's recording, and uh, you know increasingly, as people start to use the metaverse and do their business online and their dating online and their shopping online, you're talking about not only an exponential increase in the power of the machine itself, but an exponential increase in the amount of data that they're going to be able to feed into it. And yeah, it's going to advance very, very quickly now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's further than we think, but it's crazy. But like you said,
Yeah.
they've got all that information from everybody logging in, doing what you're doing, and yeah, that's cool, I guess.
Like I said before, thank God that we know they're not evil.
Yeah, Meta is all good now.
Yeah. So
I
yeah,
think they should.
Facebook bad, Meta good.
I think they should give Zuckerberg a Nobel Peace Prize now.
I think they should give him a haircut.
Or at least advice on what haircut to get next time.
Yeah. That's not. It's a very human-like haircut. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, moving along, we talked a little bit last week about how Google signs are indicating that they're about to throw their hat in the ring. Further evidence of this in this week's headlines as HoloLens Optics chief joins Google amid a reported push for an upcoming Google AR headset. And as we detailed this headset last week, it's a VR headset with AR capability. Just more of the same when it comes to these types of headlines. We hear that Apple's having trouble with getting their product out, and then we also hear at the same time that a bunch of Apple people are working for Facebook now. We hear Google's throwing their hat into the ring, and Microsoft's kind of dragging their feet. Well, now we've got Microsoft people, VR people, moving over to Google. So everything again lining up to bring us an incredible few years with regards to advancement of the technology.
Yeah. It was just a couple of years ago we were who was it? I can't remember that guy's name that won the Magic Leap in Anthony's chat.
Oh yeah, I remember that dude. I don't remember his name, and that should tell you something.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
somebody in the chat, Chris Richardson knows what's the Magic Leap guy's name? Was it Noah?
Yeah, it was Noah, right?
Yeah,
Noah. Yeah. So, and I mean that it seems like forever ago. Look how quickly this technology seems to be taking off, right? We'll see when it's finally released. But
since you mentioned it, let's go ahead and push right on through the next headline. Magic Leap 2 specs suggest a best-in-class AR headset. Magic Leap 1, for what it was, I had no interest in, and it was very expensive, and I'm sure that had something to do with it. But even if it weren't, the limitations of that device really, I could see where the tech is going, but not really interested in Magic Leap 1. Magic Leap 2 is a different story entirely. That not only is it going to have a wider field of view and much higher capabilities with regard to spatial rendering, but this thing, it's going to be able to replicate blacks now. And that's a big thing, because you remember, like, the biggest problem with Magic Leap was that all of the imagery was pretty much ghosted in front of you. You could see through it. Everything had a transparency to it. Well, they have new technology now with these glasses that allows it to zone by zone block light. And if you block the light from passing through, the illusion that gives off is black. And what that means is not only can you have black when you're outside on a sunny day, but it also means that the imagery that you're viewing anywhere is going to be solid now instead of ghosting. And that's a pretty big deal.
That's a big problem solved, right? That was probably something that they couldn't figure out for a long time, and all of a sudden is now not a problem anymore. It's crazy.
Yeah, and Magic Leap 2 itself even being a thing is kind of indicative of what we were just saying with, the race being on for the metaverse. Because a year ago, Magic Leap was dead. Like, it had folded and was done and over with. And then, when the flame, when the spark finally ignites a flame, and everybody starts jumping in uh, the ring, then now all of a sudden magically jumps from the dead, right? And not only does it jump from the dead, but it brings an amazing device with it. I'm actually interested in this thing. If they could get it sub $1,000, I would even consider picking one of these up. It looks super cool.
I wonder did it say? I know they said the first version was 2,300, right? Or was it
Yeah,
3,200?
it was no, it was between it was like $1,500 to $2,000 if I remember. If you
That's
backed
crazy.
it, and pre-ordered or whatever. Um, but yeah, I mean, for that piece of crap, which had one cool looking game on it, like I just couldn't see it. This thing, not only is it going to have much better tech, but there's going to be a lot of software for this. As we've seen, a lot of our friends in the VR industry have kind of broken off with AR wings over the last year. It's for stuff like this, and not to mention the coming wave of VR headsets, which are all going to have pass-through based AR. So yeah, bright times ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. And Joel's got a good point. He said, "Magic Leap, a wild Anthony should soon appear." I was just thinking the same thing. Anthony's like, "Hey, what's up? You said Magic Leap?" He was definitely a big proponent of it. I think this is, like you said, it's exciting. Um, I, I
Anthony appears every now and then. Like he comes out to plug Z Race every now and then. You'll see him out. I saw him the other day on social media giving away some keys.
oh, really? Well, that's
Yeah.
cool. Well, I want to see him in the chat. Anthony, get in here, bro. We miss you.
Maybe we need to put him in one of these corner windows one day.
I would love to have Anthony on the show.
No, I haven't heard him shit on PlayStation VR2 yet. Well, I mean, this is a perfect opportunity to get him out of his house and have him complain about the cable for 2 hours, man.
There you go, Anthony. Gauntlet's thrown out. Come talk about the PlayStation VR2 with us. Hey, maybe we could. I'd love to have somebody from PSVR without parole with him as well. They could like go duke it out,
Right.
man. That would be awesome.
That's for a different show, man. We need to get somebody in here that can back Wolveraza up, man. He needs some backup.
That's true. That's true.
Anyway, moving along. Speaking of PlayStation VR2, apparently it might feature a game-changing display. I think that we already have established that this thing absolutely is going to feature a game-changing display because it's going to feature an HDR OLED display that runs at up to 120 hertz. That is game-changing in and of itself. But the crux of this article has to do with the resolution and the pixel density of the display itself. This thing is going to boast 800 pixels per inch, and what that means, we've kind of speculated, or at least asked the question before with this thing: is it going to be AMOLED, RGB AMOLED like the last one, or is it going to be like a Pentile OLED, like we've seen in other headsets like HTC Vive, for example? And the reason being, we want to know how many subpixels each pixel is going to have. Is it going to have 3? Is it going to have 2? Because typically that's an indicator of how much screen door effect you're going to experience inside the headset. But what having 800 pixels per inch pixel density actually means is that it don't matter. It could be Pentile. It's not going to matter. This thing is going to be so super crisp and so super bright that obviously it would be nice to have an RGB pixel arrangement, but even if that's not the case, you're not going to see any screen door in this thing. It's going to be crystal clear, and I'm very confident in saying that this is going to be the best looking display that we've seen to date in any consumer VR headset.
Yeah, that's crazy. They're looking at, just for an example, the original PSVR was what, 386 according to the article here. So it's going up to 800, or is it 8 something? 800 or just 8?
Yeah, 800 pixels per inch, and from the original PlayStation VR was about like 370 something, 380 something.
No, it's right,
So
386. Yeah, that's crazy. It's over double. And then you're putting you're going to now to 2000 by 2040 from 1920 by, or actually it wasn't even, by 1080. That's crazy, dude. It's gonna, like you said, it's gonna look amazing.
Well, here's the thing though: is that 1920 by 1080? was split between two eyes. This 2000 by 2040, that's per eye.
Wow.
It's 4 times as many pixels. It's or over 4 times as many. It's an amazing leap. And again, that's not to even start to factor in all of the stuff that they can do on the software side to enhance that and optimize it. Like, it's going to be nuts. And hopefully we get it this year.
Yeah, that's crazy.
One thing's for sure is when PlayStation VR2 does arrive, it's going to have some amazing games that usher it in. And that's kind of what this next headline points to. Hideo Kojima is rumored to be working on a VR game. And as you read on through this article, it details a conversation that he had recently on a podcast where he started talking about a game that he was basically saying is unique and unlike any other kind of experience that's been had before. And he kind of started running away, giving details with it, and then caught himself. As these things have to be kept secret these days. That's just marketing 101. But the assertion was that this is most likely going to be a PlayStation VR2 game that he's working on, and it's most likely going to be something completely unique. And knowing Kojima, being given this powerful technology and all this new stuff that nobody's tried before, obviously Kojima is going to have a different take on how to use that stuff, and I'm quite sure it's going to be profound. What we get, I don't doubt this at all. The first content that Masher ever did on our channel was when he filled in for you that first time, and we did an episode on Hideo Kojima and whether or not he could be working on a VR game, and a whole segment on it. And we listed off example after example after example of how Kojima behind the scenes has been working in VR for years. He just hasn't found time to make his game yet. I think this is it. I think he is going to be making this game, and I think PlayStation VR2 is the safest bet as to where that thing's going to end up, at least at launch.
That's crazy, man. How exciting, right? You see a PT right there. Think it'll be a PT or something? I guess, it says that it was going to be something completely different. I thought it was interesting that he said it was clarified it's not an AR game, and then that's when he shut himself off. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So he's like, oh shit, I shouldn't have even said AR because that's too close to VR. And how cool, man.
Dude, it's going to be awesome. No, obviously, the dream would be that it turned out to be like Silent Hill VR. But even if it's not that, even if it's something completely new from him, I mean, that guy makes different stuff. I mean, he made Death Stranding. How weird is that game and unique? You know what I mean? Now imagine that guy that made that, making a VR experience and using all of these haptics and advanced audio and, the crazy displays we were just talking about with the eye tracking. I mean,
He's gonna scare
like,
the
this
fuck
guy,
out of you. He's gonna
yes, dude.
he's gonna give Wes that, like, Michelle's gonna have to hold Wes for like 2 weeks after he finishes playing because he'll be PTSD. But it'll be good PTSD that you'll be finally scratch that itch and you'll say no more horror forever.
That's never gonna happen. Never gonna happen. But yeah, dude, I'm really looking forward to I mean, there's so many things, right? Like there's Eyes Out Studio and what they're working on. I mean, there's so much to look forward to as a VR enthusiast. It's going to be a great year. It's going to be a great few years.
Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of which, the team behind Last Labyrinth are teasing a new VR adventure game, The Tale of Onogoro. 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 I don't know how to pronounce that. The Tale of Onogoro. And yeah, that's pretty much all we know about it right now. They haven't shared any details. I dug The Last Labyrinth, man. I really liked it until I didn't. Like, I met that puzzle, the algebra puzzle at the end of my gameplay, and that was just ridiculous and difficult, and it made me angry. But before that, I was really digging this kind of vibe that they had built in that house of horrors, and all of these sickly, you know, gory traps that they were setting for this sweet innocent little girl. I mean, as you get on in the thing, man, there's people in leather suits coming after her and stuff that you have to fight off. I mean, it gets really crazy. So I am interested in seeing what this studio what they're about to go to. I just hope that they make a few better decisions with regards to the gameplay loop.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway,
You know who else wants Ongoro's tail?
My mom.
Paradise Decay. I'm saying that, but yeah, I agree. It definitely, I liked Labyrinth. Labyrinth was pretty cool. When I first told you about it, and I guess there was one of the viewers actually bought it for us. I think, right, so you could play it. I knew that it would be your jam.
someone offered to buy it for us. I ended
Okay.
up playing it on. It
By
was
Port Infinity.
yeah, Shiny Robot. I think was that offered to buy that for us, and I told him, just hold off on that. And I ended up playing it on Infinity later, and I liked it until I got completely
Until you didn't like
mad at it. Yeah, right.
Well, it is kind of. I mean, not everybody is. Even myself, like I loved math, but like it's been so long. I guarantee if I come across that puzzle, I'm gonna be like, "What the fuck is this, man?" You kind of get refreshed and figure out what's going on again.
Absolutely. Anyway, moving along, Township Tale, the studio behind Township Tale, has raised over $12 million to expand their studio and development. And apparently, what this is going to mean in the short term, Roots, apparently, this is going to mean that a Township Tale is coming to PlayStation VR.
Oh, nice.
Now, my question to you, obviously, we've underestimated this game. We didn't give it much attention when it launched. It got rave reviews, people talking about how deep the game is and how much there is to it. My question is there still time for this game to expand and go to other platforms? Because it seems like people have decided that Zenith is the way to go with these RPG games. Does a game like Township Tale even have a chance of kind of siphoning off some of that crowd?
See, I didn't play it, so I couldn't tell you. Now, some people raved about it, but the same people are raving even more about Zenith. And the way MMOs are, at least in my experience on Flat, like you're gonna find one that you like and you're gonna stick with it. You're gonna start focusing on it. You might have some people that'll go back and forth. I don't know, but if you're dumping all this time into Zenith, I don't think you're gonna be necessarily going back to Township Tale. And I'd be interested to see what people in the chat or in the comments below. What are your thoughts on her? Have you tried Township Tale? Is it as good as Zenith? If you've tried both, is it as deep? Is it deeper? Is it like, are we missing it? Like, am I wasting my time playing Zenith? I should be in there or what? Mash says it's a freaking yawn fest, Township Tale. Well, there you go. I take Mash's word over everybody else's. So you guys, I don't care what you say, but still let us know in the chat. I'm interested. Or comments.
Yeah, I know a lot of people like that game. A lot of people like that game, or at least they did. People's tastes are changing and people's opinions change rather rapidly in our bubble. But people did like this game. I remember specifically getting loads of comments about how good it was.
Onikazi says it's not really the same type of game, so I guess it's really not fair to put them in the same category. Apparently, Mash didn't like it, but a lot of people did. So, I mean, enough to where they're getting $13 million to support the game, right?
Yeah, it's not exactly the same genre, but I mean, they're both role playing games. They scratch a lot of the same itches, and the gameplay loop's similar. They're both games that require a lot of time and progression, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the thing about that, and I don't know, I think this is more like co-op, or you have so many people. The thing about that really gets a lot of people, and like games like Zenith or what, is just the fact that you're everywhere you're looking, you're seeing other people playing with you. Even if you're not talking to them, there's hundreds of people everywhere doing stuff, right? So it's like an actual populated world, and you feel like you're a part of something, even if you're not talking to people, right? So, yeah. Onikazi says, would you call Minecraft an MMO? Absolutely not. So Here comes Onakazi in with the logic. He's basically saying this is more of a competitor to Minecraft type of game. So I guess there's probably room to play both. But I mean, apparently this game is good enough to where it's getting very good funding, right? Which is really cool for VR and for the developers.
Yeah. It's just another, I mean, how many of these stories have we done in headlines where X, Y, and Z small VR company has gotten multiple tens of millions of dollars to just to work more into what they've been doing. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like
absolutely. Absolutely.
there's another one of these stories every other day.
Yeah. Yep, that's true.
Speaking of Zenith, Zenith is currently Steam's top selling game. And for a little bit of context, that's notable during a big Steam sale like the one that's going on right now. Obviously, we just have a couple of days of data. But for a VR game to be undisputed top seller on any day on Steam VR during a sale is an achievement, especially when you consider, again, like we said earlier, this is not a AAA VR game. This is from an indie studio. They've got some money behind them, some investment, much like the people at Township tell. But this is an indie VR game sitting atop the Steam charts, and that is impressive. And again, we know that this isn't bullshit fake news because we were in there, trying to get in to these servers. We saw how it was. Obviously, a lot of people playing this game right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And it says it's also at the top of the Quest store's best-selling charts as well. I guess the last time they saw this, it was say Half-Life Alyx made it in 2020. They said for the Steam list. So I mean, this is right up there with Half-Life Alyx, which is, I mean, that's crazy, man. It's only been a couple days, and they had huge issues on day one, which should destroy any game. But apparently it didn't because it's still growing. So
Absolutely. And, notable that this is not just the Steam VR list. This is all of Steam, like flat games, everything. Zenith sits atop the list. Amazing performance for this game, and just that alone makes you want to give it more time than you typically would, right? Like the reception it's gotten, the popularity of it. A lot of people are raving about it, and even if you go into it once and just have an average experience, you want to go back in. You want to see what all the commotion's about, right?
yeah, absolutely. Chris Richardson says Orbis VR seems to have deeper mechanics for far more varied character classes. It's been out for years. Tweak. The thing about Orbis VR, and it has more classes. It's 1,000% more confusing to people coming into the game. They tout the fact that there's a great community to show you around, but some people want to go in. They want to just quest and do their thing, and it doesn't lead you around. There's a lot of, it's like Orbis created a very good platform for Zenith to build upon, and then the next one will build upon that. From what I'm seeing, the mechanics are actually more deep once you go further into, at least I'm on level 8. But just the fact that it's my map and the questing is constantly leading me where I need to go, and it's very easy to figure out where I need to be. That's huge to me. I spent so much time in Orbis not knowing what the hell I'm doing, hours, because it's just not very forthcoming. So
Yeah, and for what it's worth, this is day 3 of Zenith, and I was going to do 2 Zenith headlines, but backed off of the other one. But I've got it up in front of me here. Zenith plans for 3 more character classes, better dungeon, and user-generated content. So that's where they're looking at taking this thing. So even as good and as deep as it is right now, it's going to become even more so over time.
yeah. Yeah, and we'll see. Time will tell. We'll know a lot. Definitely, by the time Wednesday comes, I guarantee I'll have spent probably 20, 30 more hours in there, and I'll have a very good idea of how deep this thing seems to be, at least to the point I'm at. So we'll see.
Absolutely. That is our mission, and we do choose to accept it. This Wednesday, we're going to we're going to give you guys the straight dope, real talk on Zenith this Wednesday.
Yeah, with AJ. That'd be cool.
With AJ and Masher, and it's going to be epic.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Something tells me PSVR2 might come up in the conversation at some point.
A little bit, right?
Possibly.
I should do the show as a game cat the whole time. No, I'm just kidding.
A wizard
game cat. Yeah.
Headline: IO Interactive provides a free update to Hitman versions that were purchased on Steam, and the discount has been removed on the Epic Store. So, obviously, Hitman off to a bit of a bumpy start with their Steam launch, which occurred this past week, and they're sorry. They want people to know that they're sorry. So the way that they're going to go about that is by allowing people who bought the game on Steam to get a free upgrade. They can either upgrade to the deluxe edition if they bought the standard, or you can upgrade to the 7 Deadly Sins DLC collection, which launched over the course of most of last year. So pretty substantial free gift for those who bought the game on Steam. And in true Steam fashion, we can't have a cheaper, better version of the sale out there. And since the Steam regulations prevent IO Interactive from putting it on sale on Steam for the first 30 days, the only recourse that they had was to go and remove the discount from the Epic Game Store. So way to go, Steam, way to ruin it for everybody.
Drilla was saying,
but hey, you get some free DLC, man.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool, right?
That's a good deal, right? And actually, and if you're one of those people that's like, dude, that's BS, man. I'm gonna buy it tomorrow. I want the deal. Well, if you do it before February 19th, or actually, I guess through February 19th, you'll get the upgrade as well. But yeah, it kind of sucks, man. Like that's just, I guess it's competitive clause, right, in the contract, and you can't have anything cheaper. So.
Well, here's the thing. I can very clearly recall Ruuts telling these people that, hey, if you want this game, you need to buy it now. And
they didn't do it.
Those who didn't do it, now it's too late. And now you see what my friend was telling you. Jump on the grenade, bro. You don't want to think about it because that's when you get your balls blown off.
We got it cheap. Like what, $17 or something? Or I don't know, man.
14. I paid $14 for it.
Yeah, $14. And that's why when people are like, man, it's $60, I was like, I paid $14 and I could play it for $1 on Game Pass, or $10 for the month anyway, if you already did it, but still, I don't know.
And I can buy that 7 Deadly Sins DLC pack and still pay less than what people who bought it on Steam paid for it. So
yep, absolutely.
Enjoy your free gift. It was less than free for me.
Absolutely. Drilla says Hitman VR is amazing with motion controllers and having this opinion, and he can still hear pitchforks outside. It is
People
weird.
are coming around, man. You always have, when you have kind of this consensus with the VR content creators and game reviewers, you have this initial wave of people who kind of pile on without having really played the game, or even if they did play it, they didn't really give it a chance. But as that wave subsides, then people like Jarillo and like Phil Yarn will come out of the woodwork and speak the truth about it. And the truth of it is that's a great game. And we demonstrated that last Wednesday. If you guys haven't checked it out yet, we did a split stream, and we had a blast. I think Masher laughed through probably 75% of the session, right?
Yeah, he was having fun. Did you watch that video he sent you yet? The mashup.
Yeah. I watched it on his channel. I think the one he sent me was actually the same thing, just didn't have the Q2C intro stuff on it.
Yeah, he wants us to post it on our channel, that version. That's why he sent you. Yeah, he sent a different version for you.
Yeah. He I haven't watched that all the way through yet, but I watched the whole thing on his channel, and then made it through about 2 or 3 minutes of the one that he sent me when I was at work last night. So, yeah, it's hilarious.
Yeah, that's cool.
Point being, it's a fun game, and it's good to see the Jarillos coming out and backing us up, so we don't have to stand out on this on this cliff by ourselves, right?
It is weird. It's weird when almost the entire community is saying something completely opposite of what you're saying, and you're like my thing is I'm going to tell you what I think regardless of what anybody else is saying. I might be wrong. Maybe I'm off base. But it's going to be my opinion, and it's not going to be based on anything. And that's why I don't watch most of anything that anybody ever says anymore. Because I just don't want to be. I want my opinion to be what it is, 100% genuine. So it's hard. It's hard if you watch enough people. If their opinion, sometimes it can seep in, and you don't even realize it.
Yep. Yeah,
So.
absolutely. Anyway, moving on to the final headline this week. Another impressive figure as The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners has surpassed $60 million in revenue since it launched some 2 years ago. Makes sense, right? You have a huge franchise. You have a game that's probably the best all-around game in VR with respect to all platforms. It makes sense that this would be one of the big success stories in VR.
Yeah, especially if you figure people get into VR for the first time and they go through the list of games and they see like The Walking Dead and like, oh my God, there's a Walking Dead game. And then they get in there and they're blown away, right? It's just name recognition. And Servios could have had it too. They would have made their game good. People would have jumped all over that thing. So,
by the way, you can get that game for like $2 on Fanatical right now. Like literally,
Walker's
like
got
$2.
me. You can hear that all
Walker's
you want. Yeah.
Yeah, they've got a new make your own VR bundle on Fanatical.
Really?
Now, and the games come out. Even like the smaller options where you get like 3 or 4, it's less than $2 a game. And then there's that. There's a few decent games on there. The Morgan's on there, Zero Caliber, and Onslaught. So anybody who was waiting, because Onslaught wasn't terrible. That's the reason why I'm saying that. But like it's easily worth $2.
Oh yeah,
and a little bit of your time
for $2. That's a no brainer for sure.
Yep. Especially if you're a Walking Dead fan, which you probably already have it if you're a Walking Dead fan. Anyway, well deserved. $60 million in revenue for The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. And I'm sure that's only going to continue to grow as more people make their way into VR, and that franchise continues to expand and grow.
Yeah. Well, it says the tourist edition on PC and PSVR sells for $50. What about the did anybody ever get their backpack, or was that like, I wanted my backpack then?
I saw some content creators that got one sent to them, but I don't know if anybody actually bought the $120 backpack.
Tiffany, we want backpacks, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Tiffany, for the future backpacks.
Yes.
Ray Pope talking about Hitman 3 says this reminds me of the Defector Factor. Great game, shit reviews. And yeah, exactly right. Good example.
Defector was so weird, man. I've never had people complain about a game that it's too cheap before it even came out. Like, this is too cheap.
Yeah, that was weird, man.
What?
It's like Defector got hyped up to the moon because it took so long for it to come out. And people had this expectation of this huge AAA game for Defector. And then when they dropped the news that it was going to cost $20, like immediately people's opinions formed of that game. Like, it must suck.
Yep.
It must suck. So when it released, everybody's like, oh, this sucks. And it was a great game. It wasn't like the big blockbuster blood and truth game that people wanted it to be. But it was really good.
The studio realized that's what a smart studio says. They look at the project, they have people test it, and they say, okay, this is what we wanted it to be. This is what it actually is. So let's price accordingly. And then people like, $20, man, this got to suck. No, it was actually, you got a good deal for $20. If they would have priced it $40, it would have been too expensive. So what they did is they made it, like I've said before in the past, they should have made it a no-brainer. But because people are
weird. At that time, in 2018, when that game came out, like $20, a $20 game was actually still a decent game back then. Like the pricing structure has changed since then. But back then, like $20 was a decent game.
Yeah.
And Yeah, so I
Weird.
felt it was a good deal at 20 even then. Um, so it's a good deal today at 20. So
Yeah, it's definitely worth playing.
anyway, congratulations to Skydance Interactive on their success, and we wish them the best with their future endeavors. And with that, we are going to get into this week's featured story. Developer Skydance Interactive celebrated the second anniversary of The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners this past week by making the announcement that we've all been waiting for, that a sequel is in fact in the works. The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Chapter 2 Retribution was revealed on Twitter this past week, and it was said to be a full standalone expansion to the original VR masterpiece. Many important details about the game have yet to be revealed, but we can confirm that Chapter 2 continues the story of the tourist and will, at least in part, involve a new story arc that was teased at the conclusion of last year's Aftershocks DLC. Among other things, the Aftershocks content hints at a possible new area of the city, which would be featured in the follow up. And that area is none other than New Orleans' historic French Quarter. While the existing game and subsequent DLC sets the scene nicely for players to begin the excursion into the old city, Skydance insists that playing the initial installment will not be necessary. Chapter 2 will be a brand new adventure designed to be enjoyed by old and new players alike. Many questions remain regarding the highly anticipated follow up, including which platforms will be supported and whether or not co op multiplayer is going to be included. So be sure to subscribe and ring the bell if you want to stay up to date as we get the answers to these questions and more in the coming weeks and months. Roots, as we move into featured stories, it's pretty much obvious what the story of the week was, right? Like it was a no brainer. We were just talking about the Saints and Sinners and the success that they've had and how it's pretty much the all around best game in VR. So when they come out and announce a sequel, even with very little detail surrounding it, we don't even know when it's coming. Still, this is a big deal.
Yeah, super exciting. And I would remind people, we're friends with the developers and Tiffany, so we might actually find stuff out earlier than other. Definitely want to hit the bell, and I'm not saying we will because there's no guarantee on that, but you just never know, right? So
you never know. We
know.
might just have the inside track on that.
Yeah.
Because we do have friends at Skydance, Tiffany and others as well. I'm in contact with other people over there, especially over the last week. I've just been so excited for the fact that we're going to get a whole new campaign with the tourists. They're staying in New Orleans, and we're moving into the old part of the city,
That's
Roots,
cool.
the French Quarter. That's going to be so cool in VR, especially since, not only is it the old city, but it's kind of the post-apocalyptic old city that's been out of commission for a few years at this point. And I'm sure it's going to be absolutely beautiful to behold from within inside a next generation VR headset.
Yeah. It's gonna be. I'm excited for sure.
Yeah, the possibilities are kind of endless with this here. We saw how well they utilized the technology that they had at their disposal this last generation. What do you think that these expert game developers are going to be able to do with the new headsets that are coming and all the new features? I mean, it's going to be impressive, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Not only that, but they've had 2 years of feedback from their first game. So, I'm sure there's going to be things that maybe we bothered us that they've removed or changed or tweaked or whatever. Obviously, like you said, it's going to be the same engine, but still, they can maybe improve some things that we maybe didn't like. Like I said, who knows? Maybe we go in there and they've given us way more liberty to go into places and scout around. That was one of your biggest gripes is that there's so many buildings you wanted to explore. And maybe it's more open this time. Who knows?
Yeah, let's hope so.
Even if it's the same, I'll take it as it is. That's just a hope of a little bit more
let
on
me
top
ask
of it,
you,
right?
are you at all put off by the fact that this is like a standalone expansion as opposed to a true sequel that's in a brand new engine with brand new characters and new assets and the whole deal?
Maybe that's what they're working on now. Maybe as they release this, and they're now working on the next generation version of the next game, because that generation is we're a little bit ways out, right? Maybe
That's
6
true.
months, 9 months, a year. Maybe the next Walking Dead comes out a year after PlayStation VR2 comes out, and now PC VR is caught up, and they've got eye tracking as well, and you know what I mean? So some of these things everything's timing. You want to have something going on now in between, because we're kind of in a weird, odd place, right? Like, what's coming, but you have to be developing for that platform as it's coming out, and still keeping what's out now viable as well. So
would you have rather waited? Like, if you could get what we're getting here, which is it's going to be a full-fledged sequel, a whole new story with the tourist, or you could wait 2 more years to get like a brand new everything from Skydance, the next version. What would you have preferred?
well, I don't know. It's dangerous at this stage in the game to wait another 2 years. Maybe another Walking Dead version drops in between there, and it's so good that it steals your thunder, and now you're scrambling to get back. You want to keep this whole thing going, right? It's about 2 years. It's about time to put something out more than what we had before. As much as I loved waves of zombies coming and stuff, and even the addition of what they did at the end of the last one, the aftershock, it wasn't what we wanted. We wanted a new story, and this is going to give it to us. So I guess it'll be interesting to see how the story unfolds, and is it really compelling? If it's a compelling, amazing story, I don't care. I want it now. I want it yesterday.
That's the thing, right? Like, just because it's made in the same engine and stuff doesn't mean they're not going to be able to iterate upon it and do new things with it. So I think a lot of how this game is received is going to hinge on things like that and how much they listen to player feedback. People have been asking for co-op for years in this game. It's the number one thing. It's the thing people always go to when they talk about this game,
Mm-hmm.
and the developers hear that. So, like, if they implement some kind of multiplayer into this game, it's going to be a runaway hit, I would imagine. And that's not to mention, there's a chainsaw. Did you see the chainsaw? That's awesome.
Well, that's what Paradise or somebody was saying. Oh yeah, Paradise SK said there's the logo has a chainsaw. That's going to be in the game. So there's going to be new aspects of it. It's going to be cool. And we know that the first iteration was good. They haven't been just sitting on their hands for 2 years. And they're very creative there at Skydance, right? They want to I'm just like any artist, they want to take their baby and then make it even more cool, right? So
yeah, it's a chainsaw, bro. Evil Weasel with a chainsaw.
Oh man, I hope it's visceral. Don't hold back on the blood, Tiffany. We need it.
Do need it, and when you need something, it's a responsibility.
You know who else needs it?
My mom.
You can argue what it is, but I think she needs it real bad.
Zayla Maru says, I just started The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners last week after watching Black Summer. Awesome. You're going to dig this, dude. You're going to dig this. Completely awesome. Play at your own pace. Story-based VR game with tons of replayability. I'm going to do Aftershocks now because I don't know if you caught it in the thing that I was reading a moment ago, the article I typed up. But a lot of what they're doing in this game, it was set up at the end of Aftershocks. If you were good enough to find all the keys and unlock the secret room that had all the clues and stuff in it. So I don't want to spoil too much of that, but just going in there is really where we got a lot of the information that we have about Retribution at this point. Is actually from Aftershocks. So I look forward, probably even on Tuesday night stream. That's probably what I'll be streaming. The Aftershocks.
Yeah, and if you don't, well, I guess wait for Wes's stream to find out. But I actually was I saw a video that was linked in some of the stuff that you were, I guess, to your article or whatever, or maybe it was in the article, and I watched it, and it was going over like a lot of the stuff in that room, and It was really cool how they just like a month ago, 2 months ago, if you'd played it, you wouldn't have known. You would have read all the stuff and thought, wow, what's going on here? List of all, I mean, there's crazy stuff in there. And when you put it all together, like Wes said, I don't want to ruin it either, especially since he's going to be streaming it for you. But it's cool the way it's all put together. And now you kind of have a basis for this story that's about to drop. And so you don't have to play it first, but I think it's kind of cool to have the backstory and know, right? So.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's some other stuff too that I know about this. It's going to be super cool, the story to this one. It's really all I gotta say. Fans of The Walking Dead are going to be happy with it.
Henri never died. Henri, he's coming back.
No, you know what I'd love to see, Roots, and we were talking about that kind of hypothetical scenario a moment ago of a standalone expansion to the tourist story, or a brand new game years down the line. You know what I want to see years down the line from them? I want to see Skydance Interactive tell Rick's story.
Oh, yeah.
I want to be Rick. I want to protect Carl, and I want to. This is an amazing opportunity for Skybound, the Walking Dead parent company. It's an amazing opportunity for them to be able to retell Rick's story through the ultimate medium, right? By putting you literally in Rick's shoes. And I think as time goes on and, people begin to miss the franchise in the absence of the television show and movies and stuff, I think that this is going to become a more and more viable option. And I would love to see something like that coming out of this collaboration between Skydance and Skybound.
Yeah, because I've said it earlier, but I hate to crap on a studio, but man, Onslaught, dude, man, you had such a good chance to real Servios. You could have really made a good, amazing game. And
here's what they could do if Skydance does it. It doesn't have to be TV Walking Dead. It could be comic book Walking Dead.
Yeah, completely different. And then they could go more on the actual comic book, right? Because they kind of veered off on the TV show, right?
Yeah, the TV show is loosely based on the comic, and the major story arcs are the same, but the devil's in the details. And if you thought The Walking Dead was brutal on television, I highly suggest that you go read the graphic novel, because that's where it's at, man. And that's what I want. That's what I want to experience in VR, is the comic version. And I always kind of felt like they artificially ended the comic book version. I felt like Robert Kirkman was tired of feeding the people at AMC their storylines, so he said, "You know what? Rick's dead," and this would be a great opportunity for him to rectify that and end it the way he wants to, right? And it wouldn't, obviously, there's so much story there, he wouldn't be able to do it all in one game, but you could do like a trilogy of AAA VR games out of the Walking Dead story, and it would be amazing.
How crazy would it be when you're Rick and you go from game to game, or you have that moment where you lose your hand? You know what I mean? Now you got to play the game with only one hand instead of two hands, right? So that's crazy. But I'll tell you,
crazy.
I'll tell you what, Gerillo says,
Coral.
who doesn't?
Walker's got me.
Walker's got me.
Oh, anyway, exciting times. And again, congratulations to Skydance Interactive on their 2nd anniversary. Big things are afoot for them. And again, if you would like to stay up to date with the latest on this, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell. But moving along.
Welcome back to Ultrawings, pilot.
This story coming to us courtesy of Road to VR. Developer BitPlanet Games just announced that the long-awaited sequel to its classic arcade-style VR flight sim Ultrawings is landing on Quest 2 February 3rd. In a blog post, the studio says that a PC VR release for Ultrawings 2 will be announced soon, which may mean that it will have some measure of timed exclusivity before it makes the jump to the other major VR headsets. Additionally, the studio says that the Quest 2 version is, quote, virtually identical to the upcoming PC VR version, with the only exceptions being lack of HOTAS support
Hmm.
and reduction in asset quality. From the pre-launch footage, we can see that the game looks more detailed than ever, with new environments, new challenges, and new minigames. Additionally, Ultrawings 2 is leaning into combat missions, which the studio says will include dogfights, bomber interceptions, and convoy destruction. BitPlanet Games is also promising, quote, 3 times the gameplay of the original, with 5 unique aircraft, including a helicopter, and brand new islands that are significantly larger than the originals. The studio says players can expect a whopping 40 to 60 hours of gameplay across, quote, several hundred handcrafted missions, and that Ultrawings 2 is designed and built for expansion, meaning that players can expect new aircraft, new gameplay modes, and new levels to be added after launch. Roots, I never was big into Ultrawings. In fact, I've never played it. It looked pretty cool, but at the time that I got into VR, it kind of looked like the job simulator of flight sims to me. And this doesn't. This looks really cool. And after we tried warplanes last year, and I was surprised at how much fun I could have playing that type of game. This looks like something that I'm going to be able to have a load of fun in.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny because, like you said, Will Veraza, he said, "Oh, cool, Ultra Wings too." It's you said it was very like you loved warplanes so much. This is like warplanes on crack. I'm really impressed with this because I really did like the original Ultra Wings. I played it early on when I got into VR, and I was really impressed. Very basic. It was a very cool idea. When you went from island to island unlocking things, and it was the best example of flying in VR at the time, right? And this is the next level, and this is everything you want. Not only, I'm sure it has that same mode where you're unlocking things and you're having to fly and land and do all that stuff, but now you're actually getting to fight stuff. And I guess this has isn't this I thought it said co-op, right? Or you're able to fight against your friends, or no? Maybe I'm wrong on that.
I don't know.
Maybe I'm
Honestly,
just hopeful.
That seems correct, but I don't have it in my notes, so I couldn't tell you. Let me see if the Oculus, or I'm sorry, Meta Quest homepage can shed any light on the question for us, but I don't know. I
Okay.
do know that Ultrawings is super popular and that a lot of people love this game. My dad included. Like my dad, who got he got an Oculus last year, right? And he doesn't play a lot of games, but what he does play, he plays Ultrawings. So I'm sure he's going to be super pumped to get this proper expansion in every way. Game mode, single player. Yeah, it doesn't have multiplayer listed on
Okay.
the.
So I must have just been in my mind. Gamer Chick coming in says, "Good day, everyone." Tiffany, well, you just missed us talking about your game, your Retribution.
Yeah, we did 20 minutes on Saints and Sinners.
Yeah.
And that is a talent, considering that we know like 5 things. We know 5 things about the game, but we did what we do. We bloviated it a little bit.
Well, I'll tell you what, I can't stop talking about that game anyway. So
yeah, awesome. Anyway, with regard to Ultrawings 2, a lot to do here. Looks like the maps are going to be way bigger, and you're going to have some freedom, right? That's part of like my interest in this game is going off script. What am I going to be able to do to these cityscapes with my warplane? You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. That was one of the reasons why we said we loved Hitman 3. so much as you could go off script and you could like make it your own. And I was just thinking, as you're talking about destroying buildings, like, why don't we have a rampage in VR? Like where you
I
could
was
actually
thinking
be
that
the
the other
monkey,
day.
smashing buildings and stuff, dude, grabbing people and eating them. That would be so cool, man. You could even do like people on the other side, like could be the little humans trying to shoot you, looking at, man, like there's so many good ideas for VR, bro.
Yeah, I actually was thinking about this literally the other day, and was going to take the idea to Ivan at
Oh,
Ivanovich Games
oh,
because I think he would make an awesome Rampage game.
that's a good idea. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, so look out for that. And when you guys see this game, I'm sure it'll take him 3 months to make it, and it'll be amazing. When you see it, you'll know where the idea came from.
Yeah, absolutely. That's crazy.
Anyway, a lot of people, a lot when it comes to flight sims, there's kind of a community around VR flight sims, and most of them frown upon Oculus Quest 2 and they frown upon games like Ultrawings. But the good news is that they don't have to play Ultrawings. There are much more meatier flight sims out there for these people. The latest developer Q&A live video featuring Jorg Newman, who is the head of Microsoft Flight Simulator, along with Sebastian Locke and Marshall Broussard from Asobo Studios, has been uploaded, and it reveals some key details regarding the subsequent updates for the flight game on PC, PC VR, and Xbox. The video lasts about 90 minutes and details the state of the Microsoft Flight Simulator, ongoing bugs, upcoming features, and the overall future of the franchise. The video is linked for patrons in this week's show notes, but for the rest of you, here's a few highlights. World Update 7 will cover Australia with updated satellite imagery, a new digital elevation model, and a bunch of point of interest on January 31st. So that's tomorrow. World Update 7 goes live with Australia. World Update 8 is going to come in late March, and it is going to include Portugal and Spain. A free Top Gun Maverick expansion pack is expected to be released a couple months later in May. Gliders and helicopters are coming later this year, reportedly in the autumn. Several complex third-party aircraft are coming within the next several upcoming months. And last but not least, on my list, there's a lot more. These are the highlights that I picked. DLSS support coming later this year for DirectX 12 mode. Several other updates are planned, which will add new content as well as address performance issues. Again, stay tuned for more details as these updates go live. Roots, as is always the case with Microsoft Flight Simulator, um, it's a bit shaky at first, but they kind of grow into their clothes, right? And that's what's happening here. 2 years on from its launch in 2020, Microsoft Flight Simulator finally starting to become something viable for VR players.
Yeah, absolutely. Technoglitch says not worth over 100 gigs on his hard drive. I said buy a new SSD because with his rig and the way that he's got like motion controls and stuff, or motion controlled seat, it would be amazing to do for something like this. I don't know. I'm excited. I was telling you in between during the trailer, I'm excited about the DLSS because that's the biggest thing that's holding most people back from VR, and it's not the video card end, it's the processor end typically. And as I'm watching this trailer or was watching it, I was thinking, wouldn't it be amazing if in the future, and I don't know, maybe a couple years down the road, they incorporated it to where you could fly from one destination to another. You could actually get out and like roam around and in VR, like another, maybe not this game, but it's another version that attaches to it. That would be super cool because you notice they're adding more and more detail. And as they do, and you get actual real destinations, this game becomes more and more amazing. And once they've got the entire world mapped out to where you could go anywhere, and I still want to go to Wuhan, bro. I just think it's super cool. And in a time when I'm not getting on a plane and flying across the world because I don't know if I can get back, but I can do it in VR and I can fly my own plane. I don't have to deal with some crappy stewardess, put my mask on. I can just go to China right now. Maybe. I don't know if they let you. Probably not. So
now this is awesome. And we've talked about this experience many times before, and about how for me it's not about the flying controls or any of that. It's about flying, period, over these realistic looking maps, and that's amazing. Not only now that the maps are really getting fleshed out and highly detailed, but the fact that by the end of the year I'm going to be able to fly a helicopter, which is a completely different experience, as well as gliders. Imagine playing this game like you're gliding over it, like freaking Stormland or something, man. Imagine how amazing that's going to be.
yeah, that would be awesome, right? I mean, who knows what's coming to this? I just think Technoglitch, this game is boring, but I agree with Corporate Zombie. Their flight sims are what you make them. You set your own goals. Maybe you want to learn how to actually fly. Maybe you just want to go to destination. For me, maybe there's a place in the world that you've never been to that you've always wanted to go to, a city or whatever. And I'm being real. It's hard to travel right now in some places or some people or whatever. So maybe you can go fly and check out New York and be in VR and have that experience of flying a plane. I just think it's super cool.
You know what else is cool is like the modders are starting to get a hold of this. So when I was researching information for this article, one of the things I came across was a mod that's available now that allows you to replace all the Bing map imagery that this is based on with the Google Earth stuff. You can actually put the Google satellite imagery in this game in lieu of the Bing stuff. And they showed some side by sides, and it looked like a pretty marked improvement.
Yeah, absolutely. That's cool. It's good to see improvement, and I guess apparently you can add Star Wars plane ships in it in mods. Tech says so. I'm sure by the end of the year you'll probably be able to do everything, and that would be cool.
Yeah.
Because this is the thing, and I don't know what Microsoft will put a kibosh to, but there's some content you can't, you have to buy, I guess, some planes, some airports, right? They don't give you everything. But I'm sure some modders will mod that stuff in and let you do it for free.
I wonder if you can fly out of the Kabul airport in Afghanistan. I bet if you do it, there's a time limit.
You got to get out of there, man. You got like 15 minutes.
Go.
Off the rooftop flight. Yeah, there's probably all sorts of crazy places. I just think I've been in this game. I own this game, and I played it even flat, and it's pretty cool. But I want to go into it and be able to play in VR, and I'd love to be able to like have somebody with you, right? But
That would be the best. Co-pilot mode needs to happen in this thing, and I'm not a member of any of these circles, but I would love it if the flight sim community would get behind that because it would be amazing.
yeah, that'd be super cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, it's cool enough as it is. I like Google Earth VR, so something like this is just next level with regards to that type of stuff. And, maybe one day in the future, maybe the next iteration, a decade from now, will give us what you're talking about and make flying just be part of it. And you actually be able to explore the destinations after you get there. That would be amazing as well. But in the meantime, amazing display of technology here that only continues to get better.
Yeah, super cool.
Speaking of only continuing to get better, ever since its launch mid last year, Legendary Tales developer Urban Wolf Games has been extremely transparent regarding their vision for the game, and they have detailed the update process every step of the way. Although Legendary Tales was released into Steam Early Access to rave reviews and critical acclaim, this has not kept the developer from taking in community feedback and implementing improvements through frequent updates. The game recently received the latest in a string of substantial updates, and this past week, Urban Wolf Games founder and CEO BJ Kang took to Discord to thank the community for their support and to also give an update regarding the state of the game and their vision for full release. Roots, what time is it?
Quote time.
It is quote time, and this is going to be a long quote time because I'm going to share with you guys a few paragraphs from what was a rather long message from Urban Wolves Games founder and CEO BJ Kang. These guys have done an amazing job supporting this game since launch. A lot of people critical of the game at launch for its price. You don't hear that anymore. Like, people understand now why this game is priced the way it is, and it only continues to get better. But we did get some words from their CEO this past week regarding the future of the game, and I want to share just a few excerpts from that message with you here. The full message can be viewed on the Legendary Tales Discord. Hit me up on our Discord if you would like an invite to that one. Anyway, quote, "Hello, everyone. It's been a month since we pushed our Skill Tree and Magic winter update. In the last month, we've seen that fans are very happy with the update and like the direction that we're heading. It feels wonderful to have this kind of back and forth with all of you. I've also been watching the community in that time and looking at what people expect from a virtual reality RPG. It seems that everyone wants something that's really big. And at first, I was apprehensive about increasing the scope of our project any further. But then I remembered that we managed to introduce a whole new skill tree in just a few months, even though it hadn't been part of our plan originally, thanks to feedback from all of you. Lately, we've been looking at ways to streamline our character and monster creation process, and we found some ways to lower the workload so that we can bring more enemies to you. I'd like to keep researching that and also look at new ways of streamlining other production processes too. After that, I plan to evaluate our resources to see how much further we can push the scale of Legendary Tales. And we can't promise the moon, but we will work hard to bring it a little closer to Earth. We're going to spend the next few months planning and testing ways to grow our game and work more efficiently. Also, make more monsters. Rest assured, we'll be looking at community feedback all along the way. And for those of you who are interested, the details regarding the recent skill tree and magic update linked in the show notes as well, for those of you who are patrons of our channel.
Corporate Zombie wants to know what the guy's name is, you said in the article?
It's BJ Kang. It's BJ is like kind of it's initials for a longer, more Asian name that I didn't want to try to pronounce, but he goes by BJ on Discord, so I felt like it would be okay to call him BJ here.
Okay, cool.
But you know who loves BJs?
My mom.
Wow, she does. She's good at them too.
Anyway, Legendary Tales available now in Steam Early Access on a 15% discount right now. So $30 you can pick this game up for, and it is worth it as it stands today.
Yeah.
Anyway, Roots, we love this game, right? We loved it right out the gate, with the exception of the needlessly long and laborious tutorial, which has since been made optional and abbreviated. But even at that time, we could see the potential for this game, and really with regards to the long-term prospects of the game, the one thing that most people pointed out was scale, right? There should be more monsters. There should be more levels. Apparently that has not fallen on deaf ears. And the next few months, the team is going to dedicate to planning just how that they can make that a reality for their community. And let me tell you guys, these guys have been great with regards to communicating with the players, implementing feedback into frequent and large updates. They've really done an impressive job with this game, and if they say that this is something that they're going to focus on, I guarantee you that they're going to be expanding this game in a big way this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Ray Pope says he just got it. Oh, I'll tell you what, Ray. How good does it feel? And you can answer this as well, Wes. How good does it feel to know that you have a game, that you like this game, that to hear what those developers just said? I mean, that's everything you want to hear from a developer as a gamer, especially in one that's in early access. They're watching everyone's reactions. They're gauging everybody's. They're listening to everything. They're implementing everything that needs to be changed. They're open. They just completely added something on the fly and realized, oh fuck, man, what they realized is we're better than we thought we were, and we can really nail this shit. And so now they're open to adding even more stuff. It's amazing, because a lot of people, they've got their vision. A lot of these developers, and they're going to put out the game that they're going to put out, and that's what they're going to put out. No matter what you fucking tell them, you could tell them a million things. You could have like Gamertag begging developers, please change this. They don't change it. These developers are doing everything that I want to see, and it's really cool.
Yeah, man, and the amazing thing is that the magic system that the game originally shipped with was not bad at all. It was good, but they completely scrapped it. They completely scrapped it and started over, and it did not take them long to replace it with something that most people consider better.
Right.
So
Chris Richardson says, if you already have Blade and Sorcery, there's still a reason to consider this. I would say absolutely, because this is the thing. Blade and Sorcery, as far as I know, is single player, right? And even if it's not, this is, I know, was it more? I know we had 4, or did we have more than 4 people in there? Chaos.
I know at least 4 that this game supports.
And the skill tree that they're adding, Chris, is very deep. They're making this game into exactly what I would want it to be, to have the depth and the gameplay loop and the scalability of your skills and everything. And I Blade and Sorcery, as amazing as it is, it's a sandbox demo that allows you to slice and dice things. And now they've added some stuff to it, but like, this game's early access, and in my opinion, it's already better than Blade and Sorcery. But
yeah, and it's not. Yeah, this is anything but a sandbox. They give you stuff to do here. It's very clear what your path is in this game.
The environments are so cool, right? Like going in through those wherever that, I don't know what that big cathedral place we went through. It was cool.
Yeah, the environments are great. It's campaign-based gameplay. Obviously, it can use some more enemy variety, but that's coming. And it wasn't bad to begin with. I mean, there's what was there, about six or 8 different enemies that you faced during the limited time that we spent in it.
Right, and they're
I mean,
aware that they need more, and they're going to add more. That's what's cool, too. Wolf Raza says that Melee is hard to get right in VR, and I agree 100%. And so definitely.
And this thing originally had an hour-long tutorial. And the reason it had an hour-long tutorial is there's that many different things at play. It's that deep. Like, there's systems for everything in this game. And there's really a lot to it. Now they give you the basics and let you do the advanced tutorials if you want to. But I would say, and I'm no Blade and Sorcery expert, but there seems to be, as a spectator, there seems to be a lot more game here than there is with Blade and Sorcery.
Right. This is actually, I mean, you're leading you through to an actual boss right there. It's crazy.
Right. And I don't know how detailed Blade and Sorcery is with regards to developing skill attributes, but this game has a very detailed system around that, and not to mention, everything else, the melee weapons, the physics, the magic system, the throwing, and the archery. I mean, just everything. They put everything in this game, and they continue to improve upon it. And I have no doubt that when this thing does finally hit full release, that it's going to smoke Blade and Sorcery in terms of quality.
Yeah, absolutely. Chris Richardson was asking if we have the gameplay for that. So I'm going to look for you, Chris, while we're talking about what we're doing here.
Gameplay for
when we played, when we streamed, he said, for our antics, recording of our antics.
Oh yeah, we did do a video on this, and you guys even went back into it even after that. We were kind of trying to learn what we were doing initially with this, but there's a lot more to it than even what we showed in our video, I think is what I'm trying to say.
I got it right here for you, Chris, in real time. There you go, bro. Adventure into legendary tales.
4-Wheeling joining us says, "Who day?" I tell you who they are. They are the team that's going to lose again in the Super Bowl, again, to the San Francisco 49ers. Again.
It's going to be cool.
I
can't wait to celebrate with you, Wes. I'm going to be cheering you on.
Absolutely. Anyway, I don't know what else to say here, man. I've put over Urban Wolf Games as hard as I possibly can. I'm super impressed with this independent team of developers who have made an amazing early access Steam game. All I can say is stay tuned, because we will be revisiting this one pretty soon. As soon as the VR schedule slows down for us a little bit. And we might not be waiting too long, Roots, as we move into reminders and look at what's out this week. Well, we've got some stuff out this week, but finally starting to cool off after a hot few weeks for VR.
Yeah, I was noticing that actually, because as I'm watching you do the notes, you know, I'm like, you see what's going on and you're like taking stuff. And I'm like, okay, is there more? Is there extra stuff coming? And it was like, wow, that's all that's coming out this week. Definitely not much, right?
Well, there's more. I mean, if you go to Steam, you'll probably find 15 VR games that are coming out this week, but none of them that I've heard of. And some of them might be good, and some of them might not. But what they're all have in common is that they're terrible at marketing because I don't know about their game, and I keep up with this shit. So if I don't know about their game, then most of them are probably not going to be very good. There might be a hidden gem in there somewhere, but I'll discover that in Viport one day, most likely.
Absolutely.
Mash Daddy says split stream coming soon. Sure. I mean, if split stream makes sense for this, is this a game where you really get away from people? Like,
No, not really. I don't think I think it'd be better just to maybe keep it single stream and then kind of like we did the last stream, right?
right. If you're going to give up that full screen fidelity and that great view for the viewer, there needs to be some kind of comparison going on.
Sometimes we did get separated though, like as people die and you're having to run back, and because that was the beauty of it. Even when you die, it's not like you're out. You just have to run back and try not to die next time.
Plus, there's different character classes, right? So you could show off the different gameplay styles in the split.
That's true.
So it does make sense on some level.
Yeah, that's true. Well, we'll talk about it. We'll all decide what we think is the best, and we'll get it done. You guys will be the reaping of that. So,
absolutely. Anyway, what's coming out this week? Well, Final Space: The Rescue from Grab Games, a game that we recently featured on the Oculus Quest platform, is now coming to Steam VR tomorrow, January 31st. So those of you out there who want to have a couple hours of fun, arcade style shoot 'em up with your friends, this is a pretty fun game for a pretty fair price.
If you're a fan of the show, I would imagine. I want to kind of actually see some episodes just to get a basis of it, because I was so impressed with the production value and the way the character models looked, the acting, the story. It was super cool. It was a game that I like pretty much behind the scenes was telling you and Mash. I was like, I don't know. And then I got in there and I was like, wow, this is cool, man. It just shows you that you just don't know until you get in there. So.
Not to mention, Roots, we have loose ends here, unfinished business to take care of. We had to quit playing before we finished it.
We never finished it. That's true. I agree.
So maybe more to come on this pretty soon. But I don't know. We'll probably get stuck in Legendary Tales and Zenith forever, right?
Yeah. Well, the good news is even if we decided to start from scratch, this game isn't the longest game, so it's like 2 or 3 hours. We could blow through the whole thing, right?
Yeah, it didn't take very long at all. We almost beat it in the little bit of time that we had.
Yeah. Oh, we got another vom.red guy. I don't know why these people.
That's what who the hell even clicks on this stuff, man? I mean, like,
I don't even know what it is. Right? What's vom?
I have no idea, but
when I do my streams, I curse them out on Twitch. Because I'm like,
it's popular in small VR communities. Apparently,
okay. Oh, I gotcha. Maybe we wanna like grow our channel, buy some subscribe. No, we don't want to do that.
No, we keep it real here. Our 1500 are our 1500, and we love you all.
Yes, absolutely.
Also coming out this week, we already spoke about it earlier. Ultrawings 2 coming from BitPlanet Games. Exclusively, at least for a little while, to MetaQuest 2 on February 3rd. So just a few days away, and we have a brand new arcade style flight sim to play. This time with options, this time with combat, and I look forward to checking it out.
Chris 989 says he clicks on all them to support the spammers. And Ray Pope throwing $20 Australian dollars at us, and we should put a comment in there, say, hey, you guys suck, you guys rule. We appreciate you.
Thanks, Ray.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Ray. We appreciate it. We look forward to having your home territory fully mapped by the Microsoft Flight Simulator tomorrow, and we'll fly over and say thanks in person really soon.
Yeah, Tech wants to. He says from other sons, people still play that. Hey, I want to play that. I own it. I've never won it. It's one of the coolest games out there in
Never
VR.
played it.
It's super cool. I think you'd like it.
You're probably right. I tend to like VR games, or at least that's what people say.
Well, it's a co-op game, and you got to go for. It's kind of like I don't know exactly what I can't remember what the name of that game is, but you're going from one side of the galaxy to the next. You're trying to reach this thing before something get to Earth before this alien ship that's going to destroy Earth. And so like it's always chasing you, and if it gets too far or it gets ahead, it could destroy everything. So, but it's just there's so many aspects, and you're going down, you're beaming down onto planets and ships and stuff, and I think it's just super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you've told me that before. We just
Never did it.
You know, we keep these lists of 1,000 things to do, and we end up doing a couple of them, and most of it falls to the wayside. So maybe one day, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Tex says he owns it, and Chris Richardson wants to know if anyone knows Ultrawings is cross-buy or not. I would imagine it is. I mean, I can't
I
say.
would be shocked if it's not. The original was, so I imagine that the new one will be as well. The only thing is that we don't know when this game's coming to other platforms, and that including Rift. We do know it's coming to PC VR. We also know that it's coming to PlayStation VR. In a shocking reversal of policy, like when they came out and announced Ultrawings 2, it wasn't going to be on PlayStation VR, and then you know, our friends over there made such a stink about it that they changed their mind. It actually worked. The Wolf Raza approach worked, and they changed their mind, walked it back, and now they're bringing it to PlayStation.
Well, good. They deserve to have it. It's a good game, and it's a good platform. So,
yeah. Plus, I mean, they have a pretty big crowd on PlayStation VR that likes Ultrawings. So,
Mind Jive says faster than light VR is basically what it is. I don't know if you ever remember faster than light. It's a flat game, but
do not. Anyway, moving along to our next set of reminders. It's that time of the show where we ask all of you to please spare a few of your minutes and a few keystrokes to support the developers out there by either wishlisting one of the awesome games we talked about today or leaving a review on one of the awesome games that you've been playing recently. And the last couple of weeks, I've taken the easy way out and wishlisted games, awesome games that deserved it. But I want to do a little something extra for the studios out there this week. So we're gonna leave a review this week, and again, I ask all of you please to do your part with me in real time, and let's support these devs, guys. Let's say thank you in the form of some free promotion for their game.
yeah. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my advice for the last 3 or 4 weeks, and I'm actually going to leave a review for 2076 because they're still at 13 positive reviews. This amazing game. People still don't know about it.
You know what? Since you're going to do that, I'm going to do that. And I suggest anybody out there who has played this game, or hell, even if you haven't played it, everybody, let's go leave a review on 2076 Midway Multiverse. Because Ivanovich has done great work here, and nobody knows that this game is out, let alone awesome. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna review 2076 right now as a team. Come on, guys, you can do it.
It's just as easy as that. You don't have to. Doesn't have to be a long review. Just basically has to say, "Oh man, I can't even leave a review for this. It's got to be a
it's got to be something that
you own.
Yeah,
I can't play it. I can't review a shared copy. Masher, you need to get on there and review this thing, dude.
Yeah, leave a review, Mash. I'm gonna go review Wanderer, which I've been playing heavily this past week.
Yeah, then I guess I'm gonna review Zenith then. I just felt like I just got cock blocked there. That was crazy. I don't appreciate them cock blocking me. Yeah, we need to buy it.
We need to buy it, throw the $15 down and get it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, customer reviews. Where can I leave my review?
It's a little bit harder on Steam. I mean, on Oculus Store for some reason compared to.
There it is. Post review. All right. There we go. Public English language. All right. I did not receive this for free. Well, I mean, not from the developer anyway. All right. This is an amazing VR puzzler. Beautiful environments. I'm gonna give away our whole show right now, reading out loud while I'm typing.
I'm not saying anything. I'm just sitting here typing myself, you know.
Beautiful environments, great storytelling, and
All right, Zenith is done. And again, doesn't need to be long. All I said was, did not receive this for free. This game is the best version of an MMO RPG in VR I've ever played. Super cool. That's it. 5 stars. Boom. Done. Ash, I need you to review this. No, he probably already did. I feel so bad, man. I had the review all ready to go, and I don't have like $15 to just willy-nilly throw down on the game this week. Next week I will. So, which reminds me, as Wes is doing that, if you haven't entered the contest, either on from the I guess you have to do it on YouTube, either on here or the audio version coming here. For which game was that? Anshar 2 that I'm going to be buying for somebody next week.
Anshar 2 Hyperdrive. You'll want to go to our last episode of Strangers in the Night. It says Anshar 2 giveaway right in the title line, and leave a comment on that video that says hashtag giveaway. And while you're at it, watch the episode. It's pretty awesome.
And Mash says 2076 done. So
I went into Wanderer. I said this is an amazing VR puzzler, beautiful environments, great storytelling, and fun puzzling. If you like titles like The Room VR and Flow Weaver, you'll love this game.
Oh God!
And that's all I put, and that's all it takes to leave a review. And you all know how important good reviews are, because you all use these same reviews to decide whether or not you're going to buy something. It might not be the only thing you consider, but it's something that weighs heavily every time. Is how did the game review? So that's why it's important, especially with smaller releases and indie developers, that we get out there, we take a moment. What did that take? 3 minutes tops?
Yeah.
And leave a review to show support.
And even less, really, if you take into consideration from the time that we actually started on a game that we were able to review versus ones that we weren't. So
anyway, let us know in the comments down below what you guys reviewed or wishlisted this week. And for those of you who actually participated, thank you. We appreciate it, as do all of our developer friends.
Absolutely.
Anyway, with that behind us, that brings us to the final reminder. Actually, it doesn't. You know what? I'm gonna throw another reminder out there really quick before we sign off. And I want to just take the opportunity to remind everyone to go claim your free shit. Go get your Epic Games. Go get your PlayStation Plus. Go get your free shit. We're not doing free stuff and killer deals anymore, so a lot of people are forgetting to grab their freebies. Go get it, man. And while you're at it, go to Fanatical. And I think there's like 2 more days left on that Quest bundle. It's like $15 for 8 games. Pick one of those up, and then get the Walking Dead Onslaught for like $2 while you're at it.
Absolutely.
Anyway, that brings us to our final reminders this week and every week, and that is how you can do your part to support us, our channel, and our community. Of course, the easiest thing you can do and the most important thing you can do is subscribe and click that bell so that you can stay up with all of our content as we roll on through the year of VR 2022. Of course, for those of you who are already subscribed and want to do a little something extra, you can do so by supporting us on Patreon, where for as little as $3 per month, not per week, per month, $3 per month gets you access to our weekly show notes, which, as I mentioned a couple times already, are linked up with articles and videos. to support everything that we talked about earlier in the show. It's a cool read. The best part of supporting us on Patreon. But you'll also get insider updates. You'll get exclusive content from time to time, all for less than $1 per week. And you get the peace of mind knowing that you've done your part to help build the media empire that virtual strangers will become. So thank you to all of our patrons out there, and thank you to everyone who subscribe and share our channel with your friends. We appreciate all of you.
Absolutely.
And last but not least, we would like to remind you that the invitation is open in the description down below to join our Discord community, which is where we hang out. It's where we hang out with the fam. And the fam, you're the fam. If you're watching this, you're the fam. And that's where we talk about life. It's where we talk about VR. It's where we talk about what we had for dinner, what sucks, what don't suck. It's where we are 24/7. Talking it up, and sometimes not talking so much, but lurking and reading. But we're always around, and the door is always open for you. It's right down there in the description below.
Absolutely. Come home. PD says, hit that like, subscribe, and cock block Roots. I say absolutely, but please don't cock block me. That's not nice, bro.
That's rude.
Distance.
Totally rude.
Distance is
Especially
doing that good enough for me.
2022. 2022, we have better etiquette than that. We don't.
That's right. You never do that to another
19.
bro, dude. Do you remember that happening when you're like, dude, like you have a friend that liked the same chick and they're like just being annoying, and the chick obviously into you. Just don't do it. It's not cool.
I could be a grandpa right now, Roots. Had these assholes not cockblock me. But it all worked out for the best.
Yeah, absolutely. I am going to be a grandpa actually in about 3.5 months. My daughter just found out she's having a daughter. So I'm going to have a granddaughter here pretty soon, which is cool.
Please accept my congratulations and my apology for the 50 jokes that just went through my head that I'm not going to say because I don't want to offend anyone. And people have trouble with jokes these days, so I'm just going to keep them to myself and tell you in private.
Yes, absolutely.
And with that said, friends, I'd like to thank you all once again for watching. Be sure to tune in on Wednesday. Again, special guest this week, PSVR Underground AJ from PSVR Without Parole, coming on to talk Zenith with us, coming on to talk Wanderer with us, coming on to talk PlayStation VR2 with us. And of course, our good friend Masher will be with us as always. It's going to be a great episode. We're going to be streaming Tuesday night. I missed last week. I won't miss again this week. Most likely going to be doing The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Aftershocks. If not, we might do like the second half of Wanderer, which will be the only reason I don't play Aftershocks this week is because I want to finish Wanderer. But either way, it's going to be a good time. Make sure you've hit the bell. And with that said, friends, I'd like to thank you all once again for watching. For Roots, I'm Wes. We'll see you in a few days. Bye now.
Take it easy.